Neither of these players, I believe, have played Hero Marine yet. Oh, pardon me, Denver has played Hero Marine, but still not a place you want to find yourself in. So let's get into our first game here on Death Aura and see if these players have something else they can show us.
Our first player on the top left, representing Ukraine and Starcom Gaming. He is the legendary Terran, been around for more than 10 years. It's Papa Cass. And his opponent in the bottom right, representing TCAP, he is the red Zerg player from France. It's Denver.
So, fun fact, did you know that Denver actually isn't technically representing KAP?
No, they just given him a temporary sponsorship, right?
Yeah, they're like just sponsoring him, and for some reason, Liquipedia was like, oh, they're just like temporarily helping him out. Okay, he's on that team now, for sure, officially.
Okay.
Because I remember we asked him a while ago. We're like, Denver, did you join the new team? He was like, nah, not really. We're just friends. It was like that. He's like, oh, we're just friends.
It's like yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. I cast Lambo, and of course he's teamless. And I was wondering if I paid him like $50 if he'd join Team Grant just for one game, we could sort something out.
Did he ever get back to you on that?
I never asked him, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I forgot after about 3 seconds.
I'd love that. Wouldn't that be great if you were like, just this one game, man. One game. I want you to be Team Grant. That's it.
Yeah, just Grant in capitals before his name.
Well, it looks like standard openings here, which is good because it does mean we might see a bit of a longer game. We see Denver going for Hatch Gas Pool. Should be popping 2 Queens out as soon as that Natural finishes up. It is a Reaper expand for Cass on the top side. Natural going down. All is well and good on Death Aura LE here. One of our most commonly played maps. And one that the players should be very familiar with the topography of the map. Not a whole lot of surprises yet to be thrown. So far, things looking very standard.
Yeah, and it's a big praise due to the map maker. That was, of course, Maris from Finland, who is also a lovely person, made so many of the great current maps. She made this, she made Disco Bloodbath, and some others. I'm so bad at memory. We do have the first Reaper coming across here. Cass generally pretty good with his Reapers. Shouldn't lose this, shouldn't get surrounded. Just going to poke away at the Lings. If you can get a Ling, that's always nice, but as the Queen pops, of course, he will need to back off. The standard TVP start here. We do have a factory finishing up. Reactor going onto the barracks for the old swappily doodles to get some Hellions out, and the third base has gone down at standard time here for Denver.
Everything looking real good so far. Cass going for the 1-1-1 behind this. That starport just getting started, but as you said, the swappily doodle is occurring right now. Interesting placement of that barrack, and we'll see what comes down from the barrack next. My guess is Tech Lab, and then the question is going to be, will there be a swap over between the Tech Lab and the starport? It's looking very likely right now that Cass is going to go into some sort of maybe Cloaked Banshee play. We'll see if he goes for that, though, if he does that swap over, or if not, if he goes straight into bio play behind this. Now, Cass is a player who's not afraid to go mech, ever, and could even do that against Zerg, but it looks like that's not going to be the case this time, as we do just see that first Viking coming out, along with the Marine. Should be Stim on the way soon.
Yeah, the Viking typically used, of course, to push back Overlords and to deny any scouting. It could be that we see something a little bit funky go down for Cass here, or maybe he just wants to hide his tech path for the foreseeable future. Denver done a great job of getting this Overlord behind the mineral line. It does look like that will be scouted. No, it's still not been seen, actually hidden in the shadows. We do have Pneumatized Carapace finishing off, so it does look like this Overlord is going to be able to get in. And with the Viking opening, that is very, very nice, because, of course, the Liberator now is going to be potentially scouted. We can see Denver sees that it's been supply block for so long.
He has been supply black for ages now, only just now starting a supply depot. An uncharacteristic mistake from Cass. Cass is a player who's generally very, very solid with his build orders. A little surprising to see him supply blocked all the way until this first one finishes up. I don't know if that's just an unusual mistake. I don't know why the hell Cass would be supply blocked for that long, but finally does just come out. Viking going to scout out, but let's see if these Hellions can get anything done at the third base now, as I imagine they'll be running in soon.
Well, they were meant to be running in at the same time as the Liberator sieges up, which the Overlords have been cleared for. But of course, the Liberator was so delayed by the supply block. At this point, I'd like to see Cass fly in and land his Viking. It has potential to do damage. Of course, if you land it just between these gas geysers here, he could take down a couple of workers, almost certainly, or force a large pull. But the Liberator is just so late. Like, it's still not out because of that substantial Mongo supply block that we saw there. Stim finishing up here. Bio is going down behind us. No third CC. Oh, there is a third CC, of course, in the Wolf. And Cass looking relatively okay despite that small mistake.
Yeah, he's doing all right. It's just very weird, you know. When we play StarCraft, I feel like I'm supply blocked most of the time, a majority of the time.
Always.
But then when these players play, seeing a supply block is actually really surprisingly bad for these players, especially when Cass is counting on a really tight build order. And as you said, that rough knock-on effect of not being able to attack 2 places at once is just going to lead to less damage, going to lead to less pressure, which leads to a less effective place to be for Cass. So, bit of a rough start, and this Liberator not going to get much done in the main.
Yeah, one drone. The Unsiege is nice. Cass really wants to keep that alive, use it almost like an Oracle, of course, from a Protoss player. He is now going to reposition and move down and siege up probably towards the south here. He may get another drone or two, possibly, but the Queen and the Spore are going to finish him up. I don't think he should have unsieged. He could have got the Queen. Cass not finding the leeway that he needs. So far, he has killed a drone and nothing else this game. Really scary if you can let a Zerg get to 70 plus drones unharassed. It becomes a very difficult game going forward.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't turn into a super difficult game for Cass. I'd like to see him do well in this tournament. I think he's one of the players with a very long pedigree and one of the players that you hope to see succeed, despite being a bit long in the tooth. That said, he's still in a decent position, so I'm not too worried. The problem is going to be when Denver's Spire finishes up, how many Mutalisks can he pop out and then really continue on the Mutalisk path this long? It's something we've seen go several different ways each of the Lingbane Muta games we've seen in this tournament so far, Grant, is the players will sometimes start with a big bunch of Mutas and then not add any more, and then sometimes they'll keep building Mutas over and over again throughout the course of the game. So I don't know how Denver's going to proceed here, but so far he's in pretty decent shape, all the way up at 73 drones already.
Yeah, first few Mutas coming out, and after that we should see a good amount of Mutas. Usually, oh, this is a nice spot. Actually, Cass hasn't been scouted here. Oh, there's Lings and Banes already in position. Denver's got that star sense, knowing where he is likely to be hit. It's going to force another pickup here. 16 Marines do stay alive, which is nice here for Cass, but Cass really isn't finding too much. He is actually ready if the Mutalist... Oh my god, does he know? Did he see this?
There's no way he knows. There's no way he knows about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how you put those on patrol, but there's no way he knows about that Dropper Lord. Because if he knew about it, he'd just go down and snipe it.
Yeah.
Interesting patrol path there.
And Banelings coming out here, yeah, definitely. I mean, Star Sense from Cass, very, very good. Going to be able to save him. Potentially a lot of damage from these 4 Baneling drops. It's nice to see Baneling drops back in the rotation, though, I have to say. This is going to go down before it can drop even anything, and that's what Cass needs. He really needs to shut his opponent down here, because he cannot afford to take any damage himself, because he's not done any damage. In terms of missile turrets, where are we sitting at? Only 2, and then really not by the mineral lines.
Yeah, odd placements there from Cass. That's going to allow Denver to get in here. Now, of course, that will force a stim out of the Marines. Only 2 SCVs go down. That's an interesting start for Denver, who's still adding on Mutalisks. He's at 11 now, getting 3 more. And this is what we talked about earlier, is, you know, how long will he commit this Lingbane Muta play? Is he really going to go full out with these Mutalisks? And once your Mutalisk clock gets up to 15, 20, 25 Mutalisks, Grant, it's so easy to fly in and 1v1 a missile turret and just take it out.
Yeah, we see Burrow on the way here, possibly going to get some explosive gameplay coming out of our French Zerg player. Cass continuing to push back this Overseer, and he's now starting to move out here. How many racks are we looking at? So it is an 8 racks with tanks, and we've seen a lot of this. And we saw lots of this yesterday. Acheron. Oh my god, you missed this whole fiasco. Right, I'll explain this later, Creighton. The Spanish Terran player doing a lot of this, but if you do this, you have to go, because this is the risk. The counter-attack here, very, very strong. Now, Cass is going to clean this up. Did he have a tank? Yeah, that tank killed a lot of his own workers, I think. But Cass has a big army stationed right outside right now. He's now going to go for it. He just has to dodge the Banelings. He can't move out of range of his tanks because he needs them to clear up these Banelings. Mutas are going to fly over. That's a big mistake. A few instantly melting here. And we have another run by Steel from Denver queued up.
Denver can't afford to take those kind of losses anymore this game. He's already behind on army supply, which is terrifying for a Zerg player. He's over-droned just a little bit on 81 drones. Like, that's a healthy number, but when your opponent's only on 60 drones, I don't know if it's enough. Not great splitting them from Cass, but he does dodge most of the banelings here. Looks like there's still plenty left, though.
Oh, he saved the tanks in the medevac.
Yes, saved the tanks, and I think he's just fine. This is going to be very dangerous here for Denver.
Yeah, this base has to be completely evacuated. It will fall down rapidly, and now Cass has a leeway, and he's parade pushing across the map. I'm sorry I interrupted you there, Creighton. I got too excited. These Marines are now in a very good position. It's going to be very difficult to surround them. The creep tumors behind are a bit of a nuisance, and we may see the Zerg just go and pick off reinforcements. Yeah, this is smart. But Cass has got 20 more army supply, losing a little bit of that now. He is taking his 4th base. Looks like Cass is going to come home and be content going 4 base against 4 base for a while. But this planetary, not yet complete, is going to take a lot of damage. He's not targeting it. He probably could have killed the planetary here.
Yeah, I don't know if Cass is going to go home, man. He lost 14 SCVs behind this and a little bit of a Baneling and Ling run by at his 3rd base. So I think Cass understands right now that he's in such a bad place economically that he's got to win the game sooner rather than later. The Planetary Fortress will finish off. He's going to clear a lot of his creep. But Denver's actually in a really strong position right now, despite losing that 4th base. He's back on 4 bases. He's working on a 5th base now, and these continued harassments for the Mutalisks and the Lings and Banelings earlier have really been paying dividends this game. Cass is in a really difficult position now at 47 workers, trying to keep up with Denver, who's on 76.
Yeah, now what Cass has going for him now is his army. His upgrades are pretty decent. If he could take the perfect fight, there's always a chance. A lot of Mutalisks have gone down. The missile turret placement actually for Cass ended up being very good, and a few more Mutas are going to join their friends in the afterlife here. We have another Ling run by, shift clicked up here by Denver, but Cass is going to be able to get another cancel here on the central base.
What do you think? That's a kill, not a cancel. Oh my god.
That's bad.
Big mistake from Denver. What do you think Mutalisk Heaven is like? Just a bunch of sieged up tanks everywhere.
Yeah.
And they can just fly around and
full medevacs in dead space that can't unload. We actually have a lot of the bio right now not in the fight. The tank spread is okay, but when you get hit from this many angles, Cass just losing so much. He still has that bio that was down to the south. He has a good chunk of medevacs, though they have very little energy. Cass is killing a lot of drones right now, and he's even in supply. What is going on?
Bit of an uncharacteristic mistake there from Denver, who's transferring some drones down. He's going to lose 27, 28, 29, 30 drones. That's maybe. But the Marines, as you said, are very, very low right now, and the medevacs are very low on energy also. So finally, all these Marines can get cleaned up, maybe picked up the medevacs, but the medevacs getting cleaned up as well. This is definitely one of the levels of Mutalisk Heaven for sure.
But now Cass is up in workers. His +3 is already on the way. He's crippled the economy of Denver massively. Denver is really... He's mining from 1 base with 13 out of 8, 16 out of 8 there. Denver's not really mining. Cass mining considerably more, as he does have that fresh base to the north that he can mule up. Mutalisks fly back in. I think Cass is ahead.
Yeah, I think he is. This game has been a real back and forth, Grant. It's really been hard to call. One of the biggest differences right now is that Cass is already grabbing +3, which Denver seems to have forgotten about. Denver, yeah, is on Hive Tech, so I'm not sure why he's not grabbing that +3. I guess he's just starved for minerals, isn't he? Yeah. He just can't afford it. Trying to get more bases up, or not even trying to get more bases up, just cranking out upgrades for his Mutalisks and hoping to win the game on the back of Mutalisks. But that's a pretty rough spot to be in, especially when you lose Mutalisks like that.
Yeah, all of it. There's no medevacs for these Marines. What are these Marines doing? They're dying. If Mutalisk Heaven was all of those medevacs and Baneling Heaven was all of those Marines that could not be saved, now the rest of the army coming in. But just think, if Cass had 20 more Marines that he hadn't lost, I think he could have gone for the throat here. I think Cass making a mistake and overextended with some unsupported Marines. He ended up trading, almost as well as you could hope in that scenario. But this game's starting to go down to blows, man. It's scrappy.
Very scrappy, very scrappy. I think Cass is still in good shape, though. He lost a lot of Marines there, sure, for a really stupid move out, sure. But he still has a lot left over. He's way ahead in army supply now, 99 to 60. And most of the army supply for Denver is in those Mutalisks. He's got 10 Banes on the way, but they're not
It's
finished
not
yet, and that means they won't be. Yeah, it's not even enough for this army. Cass is a player who can definitely split very well. We can see him protecting his tanks there. Yeah, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, the tanks here going to get some good fire, some good surface areas here onto the Lings and the Banes, doing a great job. Reinforcements catching mutas constantly. Cass has done a great job. How many mutas has he killed? 27 this game. That's a whole lot of mutalisk moolah that has gone down. He's also got some unsupported Marines down to the south here. They are going to get caught by these Lings and Banes, but that opens up an attack path possibly for Cass right through the middle of the map. Is he going to go?
Yeah, he should. I don't know if he's going to, but he definitely should. Yeah, there it is. Finally, he's moving in. Should get a cancel on this 4th base yet again, or a kill rather on this 4th base.
This is the only mining base.
Yeah, and that's going to force Denver up, and away. 115 army supply for Cass, 71 of Denver, and again, Denver on mostly Mutaling Bane right now. Even with centrifugal hooks and on creep, those Banes are scary, but not as scary as they should be. Cass is a master splitter, and I'm not too terrified. Denver's trying to like counter pressure down on the other side of the map with the Mutalisks, but they just keep getting driven away, and like maybe some SCVs are going down, but not enough. Not enough, Grant.
And I like what Denver's doing. If Cass is a master splitter, then right now Denver is using his mutants as great bait. And I'll leave you to put 2 and 2 together there. The macro hatch will go down. There's just so many units here, and the Baneling count is really only 17. It's not enough. The spawning pool goes down. All of these so difficult right now to be replaced. Cass is going to lift off here, but he still has units down on the ground. If he can save these medevacs and Marines, he's going to be in such good position. Tanks firing down as well. Cass is at 109 to 61 supply, and I think Cass right now, look at the supply, my friend.
Yeah, not the best trade there for Cass. Obviously, you didn't want to lose those medevacs and Marines. A decent push decent defense from Denver to drive him out of the main and then try and come in with the Mutalisks on the flank behind that. But it's just not enough. He's got no spawning pool. He lost his macro hatch. He lost his 4th. Cass is going back home to. This is an army that's not well organized for sure. Yeah.
This base of Cass continues to stay alive. Sure, the meters are going to get on top of a few Marines here. They have taken down the missile turrets and will find some damage. But Cass in a great spot. He has devoured the main base of Denver. He just needs to bring the reinforcements. He just needs to go. I don't think Cass really realizes what position he's in.
Yeah, and that's something we got to keep in mind as we're commentating this game and people are watching. You know, we have perfect information. We're literally playing with map hacks right now. So everybody knows, like everybody that's watching knows this game was probably over about 3 minutes ago. But it's tough for our players to recognize that because sometimes they don't have all the information we do. And there finally, the G goes down from Denver, and game 1 going to go to Papa Cass, our Terran player.
Unexpected? Yes. I don't think you sit there and go, wow, that's crazy. But that is Cass's first map of the tournament, and he looked great, making Marine after Marine after Marine, stimming and winning. Congratulations to Cass on that first map win, but he's still got to do one more. And we will now be moving on to Eternal Empire Ladder Edition for our next map. Crazy game there.
I'm going to start offering a bounty for every player who doesn't veto Golden Wall. I'm going to offer them all $5 per map ban if they don't veto Golden Wall or Submarine. Yeah, either of those 2 maps. If you don't ban either of those 2 maps, you win $5 from me. That's an official offer. I don't know if I can make that an official offer. There might be some competitive problems with that. But
yeah, a little bit.
I feel like I'd love to see some more of these other maps in the map pool. I know the players love to play the maps that they're most familiar with, but man, it's a little frustrating to see every single series: Eternal Empire, Ever Dream, Death Aura, Eternal Empire, Ever Dream, Death Aura, Eternal Empire, Ever Dream, Death Aura.
Guys, I do want to quickly say that Twitch is experiencing some issues today. If you see some drops, if you disconnect yourself, please refresh. I am keeping an eye on things. We've not gone down here, and I'm not dropping frames, but I am feeling things are a little bit weird here. Despite dropping frames, I'm seeing a couple of frame drops like on the actual stream. My bitrate's not dropped below 6K, so it's definitely not on my end. But yeah, Twitch is having some big issues. The mainstream's already gone down once, so we'll keep an eye on it. But if we do go down, we'll be straight back. We won't go anywhere.
Yep, we'll be here. Don't worry. Rain or snow, we will be here. I forget what the U.S. Postal Service motto is. Neither rain nor snow nor dark of night, I think. Whatever it is, we'll be here.
Presidential stopping ballots. Is it that?
We'll be here no matter what. We're coming on now. Game number 2, Eternal Empire LE. Grant, what do you think? Does Denver have it in him to come back in game 2?
Yeah, I certainly expect that he can, as I load into the game and my mic would have gone to pot. For now, we speak of the player playing for Team KAP. He is the Blue Zerg player from France. It's Denver.
And his opponent in that bottom left-hand side in the red, grabbing game number 1 from Starcom Gaming. It's our Terran, Cass.
So, if I'm Cass in this scenario, I do something crazy. I mean, Cass won't do it because he's Cass. But I would have loved to have seen it. Oh, there we go. You type better than me as I tried to type on my phone and talk.
Oh, you're on your phone on Twitch chat. That's how you
do it. I don't have
enough
monitor.
I have it up on one of my other monitors.
See, if I tab out to go into Twitch, then the music stops and all the sound goes. So people shout at me. So I have to do it on my phone. I only have 2 monitors, and I have one for production, one for the game, and then my phone for Twitch.
Wow.
Now, this game looking to start off very standard. We have a hatch first here, hatch gas pool. It looks like it shall be. We do have the racks and the gas here for Cass, looking at a Reaper expand. And Cass is going to play this out. I mean, he did pretty well on one of the larger maps last game, so maybe feeling confident he can do this hiccup. Same again. But I do feel like Denver lost that game more than Cass won it.
Yeah, we saw Denver making a lot of mistakes, man, and that's something we try and not dig too far into the players for, because StarCraft 2 is a really hard freaking game, Grant.
Bloody.
But Denver did make a number of mistakes that game, which you just can't afford to do at DreamHack.
No.
If you're on the ladder, you can afford to make mistakes. That's what ladder is for. If you're maybe playing in a big tournament. Open tournament with 400 players, you can probably afford to make a mistake in the first couple of rounds. But at DreamHack Masters EU Fall, the premier event of the StarCraft season, you can't afford to just let bad things happen to you the entire game. So, bit of a rough start for Denver here, but I think you're right. He's got a chance to come back in game number 2.
And one thing I haven't said yet, I completely, I wanted to wait for a few more viewers, but we do need to say a big congratulations to my co-caster Creighton Olsen for making his premier debut yesterday on ESL_SC2. Congratulations. I want everyone in chat to say well done, Creighton, as he did a great job with Fear Dragon yesterday, apart from Fear Dragon giving him 8. So congratulations to him. It's really nice to see, and no one deserves it more, in my opinion.
Hush.
I've got the soppiness out.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. I'll when you go to the A stream next week, I'll make sure to be angry at you for abandoning me rather than being proud of you for moving on.
Here, Creighton's a little low. I've turned him up a little bit, so he should be better now. Thank you. It's because M Canning was so loud, he had to be turned down.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I'm a little quieter than I normally am today anyway, just because my head's not in the best place today. But wow, beautiful saves by Denver, by the way. Has he lost a single drone yet? He has not lost a single drone yet. Gonna cancel 2 spore crawlers. Beautifully done. My goodness.
Yeah, but on the other hand, very nice from Cass to force that position for it to be so close. You never expect a Reaper really to find that kind of damage. Of course, Denver not really slowed down, but Cass's Reaper, a real nuisance here. Another first couple of Hellions joining. We do have the Viking opening once again here, but the real question is, the supply depot's been made.
Yeah, no, he's fine this time. Thank goodness. Yeah, Concussive Shell Marauders from
your favorite unit.
They're my favorite unit in the game. I'm so excited to see him doing that. A bit of an odd choice, Concussive Shell Marauders, but they can do a couple really nice things. Slowing down the queens from retreating and helping to pick off one of the queens, or if it does turn into a Roach Ravager game, Concussive Shell Marauders, very valuable because they do Marauders do a double damage against armored units like roaches.
Did you just see that?
Wow.
Apply cooldown. He's not taking that risk this time. We do have the Liberator coming out. I mean, sure. Why not?
Building those luxury high-rise supply depots.
Yeah.
Driving up rent for all the rest of the Terrans in the main base there. Come on, mate. It's not okay.
Cass building up a bit of a force here, and of course that Liberator is coming. We have also the Armory going down here. So I think we're going to see a whole bunch of Hellbats, a whole bunch of Marauders. Did he let Concussive Shell finish? Yeah, how many Marauders has he made?
Yeah.
Only a couple so far. But I'm starting to think that Cass is really going to go for this and try and pick up a win early. Lots of units coming. As Stim hits, I expect to see... Do we have an eBay yet? No, so no +1. Interesting. But
so
of course, Marauders joining the fray.
Yeah, Hellbat Marauder is such a scary build, Grant. And as you said, it's going to hit with a very, very hard push here. We'll see if the Hellbats do more fins soon. Of course, there are no medevacs to support. Usually, you do want to get a medevac up here to support the Hellbat Marauder push. He's gone instead for the Liberator. We got to see if we can get that Liberator in to get some damage done. It looks like it's in the natural. Oh, that's the Viking. I don't know where there it is. Liberator in the natural now. Just forcing a bit of a pull, but the Spore Crawler should be able to drive it away. Denver defending very well so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure the attack is completely over. I'm very surprised we never saw any Hellbats morphed in. Like, he could do it, and I know, I guess the micro potential of Hellions is greater and can pipe things like these Banelings, but with Concussive Shell Marauders, I think Hellbats probably would have been a nice decision to make here. Of course, Terran is my weakest matchup, so I'm probably very, very wrong, but we have a big, big attempt at the front here of Cass.
Yeah, and there's nothing here. 2 Marines, but apparently that's enough to scare Denver away. Wow, I definitely thought those Lings would have stayed on. I mean, you could see how scared Cass was, pulling all those SCVs off the line and leaving them there to repair this up. That's how you know, really, that Cass doesn't have enough back home to defend this. Finally, as a tank up with the high ground, he will draw those back. The Lings going to catch this retreating force, though, and they will get a really nice surround on a couple of these units, and that's going to be bye-bye for all of Cass's attacking army.
Yeah, and sure, the attack is done here for Cass, but he would have liked to have kept those units alive. The Liberator has also gone down. I'm not sure where that went down. I imagine somewhere in the natural. How many workers have gone down in total? 8. It's not enough, but it's not 0. I think Cass was definitely aiming to kill probably closer to 10, 15 with that initial push and throughout this game. But he's doing okay. His 3rd is up, albeit a little bit late, as the 4th of Denver is coming up already. This Viking has already killed 3 Overlords. It's actually been on a bit of a tear here. But Baneling speed done, Spire on the way, and Denver's happy to just drone right now.
Yeah, and why wouldn't he be, man? He's driven Cass away here at the 3rd base and the natural. He's done a pretty decent job of it. He's ahead on workers, a little behind on army supply, but that's A-okay. He's saving up right now for when his Spire finishes to, again, grab a couple more Mutalisks, and it looks like he's going to do a very similar thing to last game, where he doesn't start out with like 10 or 15 Mutalisks. Instead, going to build 3 now, 3 more slightly later, 3 more after that, and just build up to a very scary Mutalisk ball like he had last game. I don't know if Cass is going to let him get there, though. Was Cass going to... Oh, I thought he was going to go across the map already. Never mind. Whew. I was like, Cass, I don't know if you should move across the map already, buddy.
No.
There's some Banelings on the way. It'd be real dangerous for you. But he's going to stay back home and just defend his 3rd.
Yeah, Cass is going to wait for his 3 extra racks, go up to 8 racks in total. That's typically when we see Terrans attack these pesky bugs. Cass right now having to dodge the Baneling landmines that come in. This time he didn't get the patrolling Marines, but he does stop it, shuts it down very, very well. Actually, he hasn't lost a worker yet this game. Very, very nice reactions there from Cass. And Cass is getting to the point now. Now is the point where we should see Cass start looking to push or maybe drop. There we go. He's got the 8 racks. He's producing 11 Marines at a time. Tank count is good. He's going to drop and push. So I was right, but doubly right. And this is where Denver has to make a stand, and he has to do a good job of it.
Have you seen Starship Troopers, Grant?
Of course I have.
Okay, you said kill those pesky bugs, and I was like, I feel like I've heard Neil Patrick Harris say that before.
Yep.
Oh, the tank's gonna get caught on siege there? Oh, not quite, but forcing the siege up from Cass is actually really nice. It will slow him down a little bit and buy him a little bit of time. Looks like his drop on the south side has been caught by the Mutalisks, forcing an unload. Denver just defending really, really well right now, forcing Cass to slow down his attacks and even stop that attack on the low ground. Cass moving out at the right time, but Denver stymieing him. Very well done.
Yeah, Denver's Muters as well now looking around at the south. The Banelings are, of course, under duress here from the tanks. Some nice creep denial here, but where Cass wants to be sieged up is this position. He wants to be right outside of this base. This base, of course, has those rich Vespian geysers as well, allowing more and more of those Mutalisks to be produced. Queen's going to respread that creep, and Cass's push really not finding much. Has he got a 4th CC? No.
No, of course not. He's not going to build a fourth CC. He's just going to go, Grant. I don't even think he's going to expand to a fourth at all. I think he's going to try and push here. Maybe when his 2-2 finishes, but he's a little bit late on the 2-2, so he really does just need to go right now. Dropping the natural, not going to do too much. Maybe 2 Mutalisks going down. Not really worth it for that push. The critical mass of the Mutalisks, just a little too much for that singular drop. But Cass, finally, spreading out a bit, and now he should be getting this slow parade push across. He'll wait until 2-2 finishes to do his final push, but he's already setting up now to do some good damage. Look at that tank spread. Beautiful.
We have our Zerg player looking for what Zerg players do best, and that is the 360 surround armies in every position. And here they come, but the tank spread is great. Now, the splits need to be incredible. There's just so much Zerg here, Creighton. Oh my god, absolute decimation. Every tank goes down. Cass drops 50 supply in a heartbeat. And now, all of a sudden, it's not looking so good here, and we may be going to game 3.
That was terrifying. You were saying that Cass needs to split fairly well, and I didn't see him split a single Marine that entire fight. I just saw Denver crushing him from all different sides. Now, Cass not all the way dead yet. He does still have some Marines back home, but he's still not starting a 4th base. Instead, adding on another factory, starting his +3 already, which indicates he wants to go to the late game, but you can't really go to that late game with only 3 bases, Grant.
Yeah, I guess the only option that he'll have eventually is to fly his main CC to a 4th location. Right now, Denver is going to have complete control. The Mutalist sharking about, maybe able to get this medevac now. Cass is doing a good job of making nothing but Marines. Like, fair play to the guy. He bloody loves Marinas. But now the upgrades are getting pretty good for Denver, and I feel like Cass needed to kill his opponent there. This is now going to get very scary, because sure, he still has 65 workers, but his natural is very close to starting to mine out. His main, of course, is decimated down to just a couple of mineral patches. Oh, okay, well, this is a solution if you have too many workers, I guess.
What it will mean is that Denver has a lot of his army not in position right now. So Cass is going to be able to set up for a big push, and a lot of Denver's army supply is in the main of Cass instead. So that might give Cass a little bit of an advantage while he's pressing on the 4th base of Denver, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. And again, we see Denver coming in with a really nice surround there. The stim away from Cass, the tank's actually getting some decent shots off, but now that he's out of tanks, these Lings and Veins are just going to crush over everything Cass has. Denver luckily going to take a bit of a break, but yeah, Cass knows it. His main cleaned out. GG, and Denver grabs game 2. Grant, our first game 3 of the day.
Boom, our first game 3 of the last few days, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but I know not yesterday, the day before, we had no game 3s. It was a very, very quick day. Today, right, despite the fact of us having much less series, is actually almost already gone on as long. So we are getting some fun games. Ever Dream, of course, our final map. We could have guessed it.
Again, I don't think I can legally offer the players money to choose different maps, but man, come on, fellas. Come on, fellas. Anything else? Well, it looks like instead of Denver Cass game 3, Grant, we are going to get into Trados versus Creighton game 3 on Everdream.
Trados is pretty good.
Oh yeah, so that'd be an easy win for Trados. I don't think anybody wants to see that happen. Luckily, I have been swapped out now, and we might actually see Denver Cass game 3. Grant, what does your gut tell you? Who's walking away with this game 3? I
think Denver. Cass in game 1, what he's doing is a little bit different. You don't see too many Terrans just go, okay, 8 racks, nothing but Marines, and medevacs and a couple of tanks. But Denver has found out on these maps a pretty easy way to get surrounds. And getting surrounds is generally going to win in that scenario. He's making enough banelings, his mutas are doing well at the other side of the map. It looks like Denver figured Cass out game 2. Cass did try to mix it up a little bit with that Marauder push that didn't work out. Maybe if he goes back to skipping that stage, and maybe skipping the Liberator and going Cloak Banshee instead, Cass could find some more damage, because the Liberator hasn't worked twice now. Yeah, but my heart says Denver, even though I'd love Papa Cass to win a series.
I can see it going either way. I'm reticent to make a call, but since you said Denver, I'll say Cass, and then that way, Grant, the B stream will have another correct prediction
100%
yet again. I love it. So game 3, Everdream LE loading up right now. Cass and Denver, gonna be fantastic. And we should be in.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and we start in the bottom left. He wins game 1, loses game 2. Can he close out the series? Playing for Starcom, representing his country, Ukraine. It's the Blue Terran player. It's Cass.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the red, representing France. It's our Zerg player, Denver.
Oh, I didn't spin the camera. I was shitposting.
How could you?
I
I
was
go through
shitposting
all
in
this
Twitch chat.
trouble.
Thank you to everyone in chat saying nice things. It's the reason I don't spin the camera. It does look like we're going to have a standard opening here. I very much would be surprised to see either player just go balls to the wall and throw something crazy in. I feel that's something you do either in the first map of a series, or if you are a map up, it's very difficult in a best of 3 to find time. Denver, though, is scouting for it, really scouting for that proxy racks.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It'd be really odd to see it in a game 3, and I know I haven't done any like scientific research or math on that, but I feel like you're correct that there's no way
unless
you do
you're
a
Maru,
game.
who does it in game 7 of a best of 7.
I was gonna say, I feel like if we did that map, if we did that study, we'd have to throw out like Maru for proxy racks. We'd have to throw out Bly for proxy hatchery.
Yes.
We'd have to make sure that like Protoss cannon rushers, so like Haas wasn't included in the survey.
Yes.
But if you get those players out, I think it's just I think it's unlikely to do something crazy in the third match of a series. It's just not something you wanna risk after you've already gone through so much trouble to end up in game 3 and then put yourself in a position where you could just lose because your opponent, has the right build order, and lucky him, he wins the build order coin flip.
Now, this game's starting off standard. A couple of people in chat saying that maybe the stream is lagging a little. Guys, it is on Twitch's end. I will say again, Twitch has been having server issues all day. I've not dropped any. I've dropped 0.1% of frames in 3 hours, and that was at the beginning of the stream. So it is Twitch. I do apologize. As for why does Creighton not use this green screen, it's because I host production, and it sounds too complicated for him to green screen through Discord where I record.
What's really interesting, Grant, is I actually worked with Fear Dragon on the A stream yesterday, and he's a technical whiz. So he told me how he does it, and I'm going to try and fix it so that my green screen isn't just like aggressively green behind me as much as I like being in front of an aggressively green screen. I may be able to change it to something a little bit more palatable. We'll see if I can figure it out there.
A giant picture of my face.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
The game opening standard, we have not seen anything too strange just yet. Starport coming down. Hellion production will begin off of that reactor Hellion here. Ling speed on the way. The third hatchery coming down at a pretty standard time. It does look like it was after the Queens and everything like that. It was delayed a little bit by the Reaper. But nothing substantial to start this game off. And what are we going to see from the Starport? That is the question. Is he going to go Viking Liberator once again? Is that Cass's build here? Or is he going to mix it up?
Honestly, I'd be a bit disappointed if we saw Viking Liberator again out of Cass. Not that there's something to be said there's nothing to be said for consistency, but man, doing the same thing 3 games in a row is just a little, too predictable. And a lot of StarCraft is trying to keep your opponent on the edge of their seat, trying to keep them guessing, but it looks like Cass is not going to do that. Just starting Stim and Liberator out again. Now he's doing Liberator first this time, which is nice, but I imagine we'll see a Viking right behind it. It's still going to look very similar to the previous games.
Yeah, I like this, because right now Denver's probably expecting that Viking to come first, and he may even delay his spores a little bit to account for that, and then we're going to see, of course, that Liberator coming early. Now, one good thing for Denver is that he always seems to get pneumatized carapace very early as his third comes up, so he can always scout. The Liberator is going to eke its way through, though. It does actually manage to just dodge by as the scout comes in, and right now, if Denver sees this, he's probably thinking a Viking has just popped out. Although the Starport not making anything kind of interesting. We do see 1 spore on the way and a second, but nothing in the main yet, right? It's coming down now. There's potential for damage.
Just coming down now. Yeah, I think the Liberator does have potential for damage, but more likely just a bit of lost mining time. Cass playing it very safe, though. And, we talked about this a little bit earlier. It's game 3, man. This is not the time to take, like, an unorthodox risk, a crazy risk.
Yeah.
This is the time to play safe, play steady, and just execute the builds that you really know very well. Again, these Hellions not diving any deeper than they could. Only 1 drone kill, but Cass is playing it safe and doesn't want to lose that.
And I think we're going to see the exact same thing from Cass we've seen multiple times. And I quite like it here on Everdream, if he can push up far enough. If you can siege up in this area, and I don't know if you're following my camera, Creighton, if you can siege up on these ramps with the tanks, if you do an 8 racks push, it's very, very hard for the Zerg to surround you, and that's what Cass lost to. So I do like the map choice here. A lot of drones starting to go down here. Finally, it looks like Cass is going to get a little bit caught out. This isn't terrible. He is killing a lot of lings. Let's take a look at resources lost. It does favor... Oh, actually, only 8 lings. Okay. No, this does definitely favor Denver early on. And Denver now killing a lot of this can be probably quite content to take a 4th. Oh, Cass pulling away at the wrong time.
Exactly. As the Hellions push away, Denver goes right to the 4th there. A bit of a fortunate turn for our Zerg player. A bit unfortunate for our Terran player there. So Denver does get that 4th base down, lickety split as the 3rd base, or the 3rd orbital command, just finishing up for Cass there in his main base. So he'll float that over quite soon, or over his natural base. He'll float that over quite soon, and we'll be on 3 bases to 4 of Cass.
Oh my god, I thought those Hellions were Zerglings for a second there. Just as the CC lifted, I was like... but no, everything is good. Double Evo chambers coming down here. Actually, very, very late upgrades here for Denver. I believe that's a mistake. Because he's had money for a while, and Cass's 1-1 is almost done. He will be a full upgrade ahead for a considerable amount of time. And with this 3cc 8 racks push that we're seeing so much Cass, and that is what we are seeing again, this could end up working out here for the Ukrainian.
Yeah, being at 1-1 advantage is really huge, especially when you're on this many Marines. Cass already making 5 Marines at a time, and look at that, already working on his armory for the 2-2 as well. So Cass buckling in for what could be a bit of a longer game. I think he's going to go ahead and push here with 1-1, but there's plenty for Denver to drive this back. But once Cass starts working on 2-2, as soon as that armory finishes, that's where things are going to get really scary because, yeah, as you said, Denver's +1/+1 just a little bit late there and he might end up paying the price for it. So Cass will be pushed away. Good defense from Denver, but the long game could be favoring Cass just a little bit.
And I think we're going to see that push coming from Cass pretty soon. He's in 1 tank. He will wait for at least a second, maybe a third. But now all of those barracks, all 8 of them, pushing away, producing nothing but Marines. And this is the Cass that we've grown to know and love in this series. Really working on his damage that he can find here. He is going to be able to snipe a couple of Queens, and every little helps in this scenario. Forcing a lot of lings out. We can see Mutalisk production has begun, going up to only 8 now. Not a huge amount. +1 air weapons coming in 2 here. And I think it's getting close for Cass to bring the boys together. Oh, this is nice.
Cute little changeling in there. I'm a little amazed Cass hasn't caught it yet, but that's all right. Cass is making 11 Marines at a time, and I wonder if he's just going to go for a maxed out 2-2 timing push. That seems to be what he's going for. Going to sit back home, wait until he's on 200 supply, and then push into the 4th base of Denver. Now, Denver's working on base number 5 right now as well, but yeah, I'm a bit concerned for him. His 1-1 will finish up quite soon. His Mutalisk count not high enough to be dangerous, though. And Grant, this is something that Denver's been doing every single game, is just building a few Mutalisks and not really building enough to be dangerous until late in the game. And that allows Cass a lot of time to put pressure on him.
Yeah, stylistically, I don't dislike that by any means. It's nice to have the counter-attack and the ability to catch reinforcements and things like that. We still see no 4th once again here from Cass, so he is really starting to sit upon a timer. He is waiting for 2-2, and I think he's going to go. You see, he's loaded up that medevac as he did in the last game, and now all of the units starting to move together. But Denver's actually pushing off creep this far forward. That's very risky, because this is a heck of an army that Cass has got. 129 army supply, Creighton.
Yeah, and if the Banelings splitting, or if the splitting against the Banelings isn't too great, I think that's fine, honestly. There's only 16 Banelings out right now, and Denver realized it. He's like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have enough Banelings. 17 more come on the way right now, but Cass is pushing, and he's pushing hard, just as we predicted. 2-2 is finished up, Cass is almost maxed out, and he is going.
Cass needs to move forward further, though. He's sieged up a little bit far back. The risk isn't there right now. He's doing it very, very slowly, and I appreciate the concern and of course the nerves and stuff he is also dropping elsewhere. But Cass really needs to get this position going. He needs to be in siege range of this base, and now he's there. This is what he needs. We're going to have some Banelings coming in. They will get absolutely mullered by these tanks, though. And now Cass bringing forward more boys to start firing away at this hatchery. Denver needs this hatchery. He's going to lose it.
Cass
But
has been
the
supply
mutas.
blocked at 189 for a long time.
Not
Luckily,
anymore.
yeah, not anymore. It's very kind of Denver to unsupply block his opponent, but
Oh my
Cass
God.
losing everything in the main base. And
He
this
has to
puts us in
win.
a very similar position to game number 1, where Cass is so far behind economically, but so far ahead militarily. Now, this game, of course,
workers
Cass
down.
has 17 workers, yeah. I don't know if this is a recoverable siege from Cass.
3-3, of course, is on the way, but miles off. Cass needs to win the game, and he needs to win the game pretty soon. Sniping the hatchery's good, but there is a hatchery to the south here. And now we see the mutas just seeing if they can get the tanks. Tanks so vital in dealing with banelings. Nice pickups here from Cass. Cass is playing his heart out this game. It's very clear to see, but he really, really needs to make something happen. Army supply still favouring the Terran player, though.
I love it. Cass has 17 workers. He's making more Marines than he has workers, basically, at this point. His 3-3 only halfway done, as you said, and that's going to be a huge pivotal difference in this game. Oh, these Lings cutting off reinforcements is so nice. Remember, Cass really can't afford to replace these Marines. Yeah. Man, these Lings are going to get mowed down, but again, stopping some of these reinforcements, slowing down the rest of the reinforcements. Cass's army supply advantage is still there, but that gap is going to start narrowing as the Banelings come out for Denver, and his 2-2 finishes up.
And I'm going to leave the camera right here because Denver's queuing up that surround, that 360, and you can see Cass trying to position, desperately trying to put his tanks in a safe spot. It looks like we may be seeing go time very, very soon. The tanks so low, one of them literally on 13 hit points. When is Denver going to pull the trigger, Creighton? When's he going to do it? We see the first movement towards the south side, but the north side standing strong.
Yeah, I don't know when Denver's going to pull the trigger. He needs to do it
to go soon,
though. Yeah, he keeps losing a lot of really valuable units, and obviously the longer the game goes on, the better it goes for Denver, because he's on 75 workers, the 17 of Cass, but he's just losing so much right now, trading terribly against these tanks. It's one siege tank with 26 kills on it, Grant. That's insanely good damage, and Cass can slow push for a while at least, so I think Cass is playing this weird end game a little bit better than Denver is.
Killing tons of workers. He's going to take down another base. Now Denver's only mining from one efficient base down to the south here. And I think Cass knows, yeah, you can see a small group of Marines. Now here comes a fight. Banelings try and swarm in. The split from Cass is godlike. Like the Red Sea, Cass splits. And now all he's got to deal with is mutas. Cass is still down in supply, but barely. And his army supply is up. He's moving down to the south to deal with that base. There's hardly any Banelings left on the map, Creighton. I think he might have done it.
Man, if Denver loses this game, he's going to be so salty. He's going to be so salty.
Denver's
it feels terrible to win a game or to lose a game when your opponent is on 1/10 the workers you are. For a brief moment in time there. Now, luckily, luckily for Cass, Denver's lost 21 workers now, so he's doing a decent job cutting in the economy deficit. But really, I don't think Cass cares that much. He just knows that he's got to win now. He hasn't made an SCV since 2004. And he's happy just to push this back. Denver does have a sneaky base in the bottom corner. And, a little Ling run by here as well.
But it doesn't matter because Cass doesn't need money. His army is his army. Of course, he would like to have more and more Marines. There is nothing but Marines and, I believe, 2 tanks and 1 Hellbat here with a couple of medevacs. Cass needs to push up, though. He needs this position at the top of the ramp. He's going to secure it with a couple of Marines. We do have Denver, once again, trying to find that angle, that perfect Cyril-esque flank. Cass moving up through the choke point. If he can get up to the top of this ramp, it's going to be so difficult for the Zerg to break him. He needs to pre-split against this many Banelings, but Cass still alive. He's making SCVs. What the?
This game just going from weird to weirder. Yeah, 2 SCVs getting added on, but of course Denver in the natural of Cass. Now these Mutalisks still just destroying him. He's going to force a couple of the Marines back home as well. Denver, what is he doing in his main base?
Why is the army there? The Baneling nest is going down.
Man, so no more Banelings for Denver. He's building 7 more Mutalisks. And Cass, of course, is building Marines. Grant, this is so weird. What a weird game.
The tank has perfect fire on the ramp, and that's going to allow a couple of pot shots on these Lings and Banes. Every Baneling that goes down is another Baneling Cass doesn't have to deal with. There will be no more Banelings. But of course, Cass will also barely be adding on any more units. He has to save every unit. The Baneling finds some good connections. But Cass still has so many Marines. He still has much to fight.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, the Mutalisks are going to try and swing in here, but Mutalisks are relatively useless against huge clumps of Marines like this. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think from 16 workers, it looks like Cass may actually be cleaning his way up here, Grant.
Is there any Banelings left? 23 sitting behind the main. But the medevac's now and a few Marines scouting for it. The topography of where all of Denver's bases are going to make it more difficult. Cass killing this macro hack is probably bad for him. Because he's not going to be able... He's now opened up a bigger pathway, a wider pathway for these Banelings. It's going to come down to one fight, Creighton. Baneling Split Simulator. I'm on the edge of my seat, and here we go! No, we don't!
Oh, just kidding! No! Come on, guys. When the caster says, here we go, you've got to engage. Them's the rules.
Them's the rules.
Denver on 10 workers, by the way. So the worker count now actually in favor of Cass. I love that Denver has burrowed some of his workers in the natural there, but the Mutalisks from Denver are doing great work back home.
Yes.
So this is ridiculous. This is so stupid. I love it.
So mad.
Now, what's really interesting here is that actually, so Denver's lost. Yeah, that was insane. Denver's lost all his bases, so it's really important that Cass finds that, but he has now found it. So now he knows where to go. I wonder if we're going to see Cass pack up and like try and go down south to attack that base, or if he's just going to wait and keep this siege position because he knows he's got lots of Denver's army cornered here.
GG! XD and Cass!